Here for the weekend in this really amazing villa with a bunch of traders. We're just like hanging out, talking about trading and stuff, which is pretty cool. What's up, traders? Welcome back to Bali in Indonesia. And I'm taking some time off now to record this weekly review. I want to go to the chart, to the pairs that I'm looking at for this week, things that I'll be trading. And I also want to cover basically 3 trades from the past week, some good ones, some less good ones. We'll go for that in just a minute. And I just want to show you, like, first of all, this villa is amazing. So now I'm kind of inside. It's like this part over here, which is even more inside. Kleenex box, which is amazing on this side. Wonderful. But that doesn't matter. That's not the point. So look at this side. This is amazing. So I've been here. This is like so relaxed. It's a cool place to kind of just relax, unwind from the grind day to day. It's not that hot. It's pretty good. So just an amazing place. And they have like a huge Buddha statue. I'll try to show you later. I'm using my laptop now, so it's not the best, but you guys see the point. So back to the chart though. I've been doing all my analysis this week with other traders, and I want to show you basically these trades I've been talking about a little bit and the pairs I'll look at for this week. Awesome. So the first pair we'll look at is AUD. That's a pair that's not really interesting. It's not flagged on my list because it's like kind of between two zones. We are in this kind of really tight range, and in normal condition I would kind of trade that range over here. But this is pretty tight. So this is a daily chart, by the way. I'm using a daily chart now to kind of show you more what happens week by week. But this range is pretty tight. So even if you were to trade this on the forward chart, the 1 hour chart, you wouldn't have much room for moves, which is, in my mind, not too good. Okay, so I would try to avoid this one. I'm basically waiting for price to hit this level over here, retest the previous support. That's now a resistance area at 0.91. If price were to test this, then that will be a good place to look for a short or a sell setup. Okay, but for now we have to wait. Or price could go down more to this zone over here at 0.88. Next zone to look for bullish trades, in my opinion. Okay, as always, this is my opinion. You can decide to agree with it or not. If you don't, comment below. If you agree, also comment below. I want to know. I'm curious to hear what you guys are thinking and seeing. So you let me know in the comment, of course, as well. Okay, I might be wrong or I might be right, but you guys have your opinions too as well. Okay. AUD is a pair where I took a trade last week, so I'll just explain you the process. The point of this pair was the fact that price reached the support at 70.6, place where you want to look for bullish setup. Now we had this kind of, this is my zone over here, but we have this big wick inside, and basically I'll just go on the lower time frame because I won't trade that big time frame. I'll go on lower time frame. We had no trade on the 1 hour chart, but we had it set up on the 4 hour chart, which are both time frames I follow. And by the way, if you guys want to get alerts for the setup, I'll put a link below for that, of course. It's called the Trading Assistant. It's a tool or script we give you to get alerts for the setup with the Bollinger Band. The same thing I'll share with you now, but you get the alerts on your phone in real time, which is really awesome. Okay, but back to this. So basically what I'm looking for, as always, is a break of the Bollinger Band, which we had over here. Engulfing candle. Now this is not strong. The algo still took the trade because it's like engulfing anyway, with a big wick, but the algo doesn't really look at the wick. It looks at the body of the candlestick for my case. So my algo took this trade, sent the alert, and this turned out to be a pretty good trade. Okay, so once again I would take profit at 1-to-1 or around a little bit below that. This is 1.13, so 1-to-1 is a little bit below, and the other take profit is at 3-to-1 in my case. Okay, so in that case, because the stop loss is like really massive and really huge, I've actually moved my stop loss now to break even. So this is becoming a risk-free trade, and I will wait and hold the trade as long as possible. Okay, because so I know 3-to-1 is like really far. It's like around probably here, something of the sort. But so that's the best case scenario. So I might hold the trade. I might close it early, and I made this exception based on the fact that we have a resistance here at this level, 74.5. That we have to be careful about, and the fact that this is like a really big candlestick. Okay, so understand here that I'm kind of a little bit deviating from my rules. This is not what I would do in normal cases, but with that setup we have, I'm willing to accept the fact that I'm gonna have a smaller profit, a little bit lower, but a better probability of winning on that trade. Okay, and that's just, I'm being honest here. I'm just saying it like this. It's not based on the rule, it's based on what I see in this market and kind of my experience as well. Okay, because usually when the candlesticks are really big, you can expect to move sometimes, but then you might be stopped out or price might reverse and fall back in your face. So that's not something you want to do too often. Okay, So I'm just saying it here. But now, if you didn't take that trade, be careful and look carefully at this zone here, 74.5, the resistance area, which is pretty nice. Okay, pretty cool zone to take a trade at. And that will be where we will test the previous support. And that will be a cool place to look for a bearish setup. Okay, if you're in the trade, then that's great, that's awesome. Keep the trade and maybe try to manage your position, of course. Okay. AD&ZD was the same principle. So a few weeks back, we went at the support here at 1.03. Just going to zoom on this a little bit. Okay, and we push back up. And this is a forward chart. There was a setup taken over here. And I believe that might have been on the 1 hour chart or the forward chart somewhere here. But I'm still in that trade. Okay, let me just see if that's the 1 hour chart we're talking about. So this setup was on the forward chart for sure. So the other setup. And I've not put it in my chart here. I have no idea why. But it was that trade over here. Okay, so in principle, engulfing, enter above the high, stop loss below the low, and reward to risk of 3-1. And now we're getting back to the zone. So you might want to kind of manage that trade a little bit better. Okay, at this point. I believe I've moved my stop loss in this pair to around this low. Okay, so that could be a place where you move your stop loss. Or you manage every way you want to manage your trade. Totally fine. Okay. If you're not in the trade yet, or if you want to get in the trade later, this is a good zone to look for bearish setup again. 1.07. Good place to look for shorts, and that's what I'll be looking at for sure this week. Okay. AUD/USD is this pair had no setup, but it's breaking out of the support at 0.6275. Now you might be looking for pullbacks. So in other words, on the lower time frame, like on the 1 hour chart, price could potentially be kind of doing pullbacks like this, going back to the lower band and going above. That's kind of the stuff I look at. That could be good for you as well if you want to look for pullbacks. I don't typically trade pullback much, but I'm just saying if you want to look at pullbacks, that's a good place to look at it. Or if you have like this strategy I have with the reversal, +1 with for trending markets, then that's where you want to apply your trading market strategy. Okay, don't trade reversal here, but trade trending markets. Okay, that's a much better way to do it, of course. Otherwise, you can wait for the next zone. I see a zone here, but I won't put it because that's way too tight. So I would not be kind of selling here and taking profit there down below. A little bit too tight. And so I'm going to try to avoid this for now. Wait for the bigger zones, so 0.75 and 0.75, okay, which are two major zones. Let's move on quickly to CAD CHF. Not much to talk about for now. I'm looking for price to bounce at this level like it did before, 0.74, or go all the way to here, 0.76, and we could look for bearish trades there. So we're kind of in between two zones. We are not going to trade that for now. Euro AUD is not between, it's between the zones, not at a zone now. We want to skip that for now. Same with Euro CAD, I believe. Although Euro CAD now is getting close to 1.45, so I actually need to kind of change my flag over here. And that's the place where we look for this zone over here. That's the place where we'll look for bullish trades. Okay, because we've bounced there a few times in the past over here. And that seems to be a good zone to look for bullish trades. Okay, so EuroCAD is, so the past week it was like in between that kind of triangle, which I didn't like. Now it broke that triangle, so we'll be able to kind of trade something better with that. Okay, so flag this one, pretty important for me in my case. Euro JP between two zones, we're not going to trade that. It's really not interesting that much, I believe. Euro USD is at a pretty major zone, so this is a previous support turning into a resistance over here. Pretty recent zone where we've bounced here and here. Now it's turning into a resistance area. You'll look for bearish trades. And this is the other trade that I took last week. But I must be honest, saying that I canceled the order because my algo actually took the trade and I looked at the trade myself. It was not a valid trade at all. So I canceled the trade. I lost like about $1 or something on the trade, with pretty much like break even. And so that's what happened on this trade. Okay. So basically what you see is, you won't see it here, but we had this like big engulfing candle, okay? Basically we would enter below the low, stop loss above the high, but basically with the algo, the trade was entered below the middle band, and I usually don't take these trades below the middle band. They're kind of not reliable because you don't have much room for profit, so I would avoid these as much as I can. And the other thing is that this pair here was with kind of like a gap. Okay, so there was a kind of a gap, candlestick open above, and to me that's not very clear. So if there's a gap, it's not really a good sign in my case. So I prefer to stay away from these trades and just not take them. Okay, so I canceled this order pretty quickly after I saw it open, and it just like went to a pretty much break-even trade. Okay, so I'm being honest here. I didn't like the setup and it was entered too far, so I did not take that trade. But if you took it, you can still manage it properly. Okay. So as you guys know, my goal with this channel is to help you guys be able to develop your trading skills for more freedom. I want to provide you with interviews, tips, motivation, whatever you need to get to trading for freedom. You can be able to travel the world, whatever you love. And that's my goal. So if you guys want to hear more about this, you want to get more resource and more help for your trading right now, especially into Forex, click subscribe, click the bell next to the subscribe button as well to be notified of future videos. And for now, we'll just get back to the video. Now back to JP CAD. JP CAD is between two zones for now, so we're not going to trade that. I'm waiting for, so we could trade here, but it's not really reliable. We'll wait for price to hit 1.66 over here, and then you can look for bearish trades at that zone. Okay, or you look for price to hit here the lower support again. 1.60 could be a good place to look for bullish trades. Okay, JPCHF is at the resistance area right now. So we've been here in the past, we bounced there in the past. This is only in July, not that far ago. And now we're coming back to that zone to retest it. We've bounced a few times in the past, this is not new. Okay, many times even, that's good. And you look for bearish trades there. Okay, so I don't think we had any setup so far. Oh, well, we did have one over here, which for some reason was not triggered for me. Probably because we would enter below the middle band. Okay, that could be the case. And on the 4-hour chart, we had nothing. So you want to look for bearish trades here, and that's going to be a pretty good pair to trade, I believe, this week. GPGPY is doing something similar. So this one is not at the zone now. It's kind of gone from the zone, but you can look for, once again, pullbacks to the kind of range that it broke out of. So this range over here. In the bucks, that's a range you can look for trades from as a pullback to the upside. So I don't trade pullback much myself. I kept it flagged to kind of show you guys and to remember. But that's a good place to look for bullish trades with the Bollinger strategy if you want, but ideally without the Bollinger strategy. Okay. So the pairs that are going to be flagged are those you will want to use with the Bollinger strategy, and the ones that are not flagged are other cases, or maybe pairs that you would trade with different strategies. Okay. GP NZD is between two zones, so I'm waiting for price to hit 1.96, 1.97 as a place where price could bounce to the downside. It's a good place to look for bearish trades. But for now, we're kind of just between two zones, so I'm not really interested to trade that. Okay, these zones here in between are very minor, not very major. Okay. GBP USD came back to a support area. We are still there, and basically we look at two zones. We look at this zone here, 1.21 as bullish zone, and this zone not very far, 1.25 as a bearish zone. Okay, to look for bearish trades. So both are as valid, that's good. Now the one coming up is this one, 1.25. I'm gonna wait for price to hit this and look for bearish trades at this zone. Okay. NZD CAD is back to a support, so 0.84. We've talked about this before, I believe last week. I was waiting for price to hit this zone. We had no trade so far on this zone, so I'm going to wait for bullish setup and look for price to go to the upside. And that is based on these points over here, which we had in September 2018, and I believe earlier as well. Yeah, over here. So a long time ago, but still valid. Okay. It's a good place to look for bullish trades. And USD CAD, we had a good trade on this last week. I believe I've shared this before. If not, I might just go through it quickly. So basically, the same thing as before. I was looking for this as a resistance area here at 1.34. And we've bounced there a few times in the past. Okay, over here. 1.34. So you want to look for bearish trades there. And price just barely hit my zone, made this engulfing candle, which I entered, of course, below the low. This is on a forward chart. So entered below the low, stop loss above the high, and reward to risk of, my apologies, was entered on instead the 1 hour chart, because the forward chart one was good but not the best. So basically you entered below the low. So price basically made this engulfing candle, okay, 2 candlestick breaking out of Bollinger Band, entered below the low, stop loss above the high, reward to risk of 1 to 1 and 3 to 1. Okay, so 3 to 1 is here, was triggered pretty fast with a news announcement, which is awesome. So that was an easy short trade, full in profit, which I really like. Okay, price went a little bit down after that, but we don't really care about it. As long as we get to a profit, we're fine to do whatever we want after, of course. Okay, so now let's just go back to this. So what you do if you didn't take that trade? Well, you look for the next zone. And the next zone, this was the range we had. Next zone will be here, a support at 1.31. That's where you want to look for bullish trades on that pair. Okay, unless you would look for retracement all the way to that zone again, and price to go to the downside to 1.31 after. Okay, both cases work. USDGPY is one of the last pairs we'll look at. So USDGPY is in a constellation right now. So this previous range could act as a resistance area. Price could hit that there and we could look for shorts. But to me that's not very major. So what I'll do is I'll wait for price to hit a major level, either 1.09 or 1.05, and then look for trades. Because it's not flag, I won't look at it too much. But you decide what you want to look at in this pair. Okay. USD is SJD, one of my favorite pairs. I will look at a bounce of this previous resistance, now turning into a support, for price to move upward. Okay, so we've bounced there a few times in the past. Over here, over there, again over here. Now we're broke, we consolidated a little bit, came back down, and now we can maybe see some indecision there at this level. So that's where you want to look for bullish trades all the way to the upside. Okay. No, so we didn't have any trade on this pair. Okay, now these are pairs that I look at just for fun. USD THP for my own pleasure. USD NUC, which I won't go through. They're kind of interesting to look at. They have some pretty good zones, especially NOK and THP. But I'll wait for this to kind of familiarize myself with them more to be able to trade them in the future, perhaps. But that's it for now. I want to thank you guys once again for watching this video. As always, it's getting dark a little bit over here. I'm just gonna maybe go around with this because it's kind of boring to stay sitting here all the time. Let me take my laptop and we're just gonna walk around and finish this video with you guys, okay? So I want to thank you guys once again for watching this video. As always, comment below with your thoughts. Here are a few comments from the past video. Appreciate you guys for leaving your comments as always in the comment section. Comment in this video to be featured in the next one, of course. Subscribe if it's not done yet. There's one more video like this every single, not day, so 4 times a week. And I'll catch you guys back here in Bali tomorrow. Ciao.